Do you feel lucky, punk? Nowadays, people favor the modern polymer-framed striker-fired pistols as their primary self-defense firearms, whether it be for the home or for everyday carry. People seem to have forgotten the revolver as a viable option. Now, in this day and age when you can get a 17-round high-capacity pistol, why on earth would you want to choose a revolver for self-defense? My first answer would be simplicity. Now, as you can see, a revolver by its very nature is not that complicated. Practically anyone can handle it. And because it's a revolver, it doesn't really have any external safeties to speak of. The only real safety is your trigger finger. For another, unlike the auto pistol, there's nothing to rack. So meaning it doesn't take a lot of hand strength to operate a revolver. All you need to do is press this little latch and release the cylinder, and you can load it however you want, either one cartridge at a time or by using a speed loader. Now, by its very nature, the revolver is limited in its capacity. This particular J-frame holds only 5 rounds. So compared to a 17-round pistol, it's really a no-brainer. But then again, why would you choose a revolver at all? Next to the simplicity is ease of handling. There's no slide to rack. There's no magazine to insert. All that needs to be done is that's it. Now, people will argue, I have this pistol which has that many rounds. Why would I choose a revolver? One of the things that a revolver is known for is it never fails. It will even work even during dry fire. So as you can see, the cylinder continues to revolve or to rotate even by its own mechanical timing. So kahit hindi mo siya pinuputok, you can see the gun is functioning. The only difference is you're not firing a shot. Siyempre, during live fire, doesn't really matter if you encounter a dud. Lagyan natin ng dummy cartridge. Assuming that you fired a dud round or you had a light primer strike, all you really need to do is pull the trigger again. So kung tutuusin, walang malfunctions. But just to correct the notion, a revolver does jam. Now what we have here is a cracked dummy cartridge. Medyo mahirap siyang ipasok and mahirap din siyang i-eject. So assuming that you had one bad cartridge or one bad shell na mahirap eject, what happens is you will have a failure to eject. So, in essence, nagkakaroon din ng jam ang revolver. So then again, we go back to the question. Bakit mo pipiliin ng revolver? This particular Smith & Wesson is chambered for 357 Magnum. The nice thing about a 357 is that the steel, the frame, everything about it is reinforced. So you can load a much lower pressure 38 special. So ibig sabihin, pwede siyang higher pressure full power na 357. Pwede rin siyang lower pressure na 38 special. What does that mean for the shooter? Ibig sabihin, he can carry the 357 and for practice, pwede niyang gamitin ang 38 special. So, di ba mas tipid? Of course, what you don't get is the actual recoil of the 357. At the very least, you can get all the practice that you want at a lower cost. Yun ang tinatawag nating cartridge agnostic ang revolver. So, this example, pwedeng 357, pwedeng 38 special. So, you have some sort of a lower powered, lower pressured round na pwede mong gamitin for practice. Next reason, revolvers are inherently accurate. Why? Because the barrel is fixed to the frame. Unlike the pistol na nag-unlock yung barrel, with the revolver, there's no such thing. So, even as you fire this thing, the barrel remains fixed. This particular model is both single action and double action. So, with the double action pull, with a single action pull. Cock the hammer back and notice the trigger is relatively short, and with this particular model, extremely light. So walang kapalag-palag yung sights mo when you're shooting. Another favorite trait of mine for a revolver is that this thing can be loaded and kept on your bedside indefinitely without any fear of a magazine spring decompressing over time or the hammer spring decompressing over time. Ang maganda sa revolver, just load your cartridges, close the cylinder. There are no springs to come loose. Kahit na itago mo to sa drawer for 10-20 years na hindi mo siya ginagamit, it will still work. And another thing is, the rounds don't get compressed, unlike in an auto pistol where repeated chambering of the cartridge will cause the bullet head to be compressed. Dito sa revolver, the cartridges slide in easily, and when you close the cylinder, it's automatically good to go. For another, there are no safeties to engage or disengage. So if you need it, take it out of the drawer and just go bang bang. Sobrang simple, diba? Now, in all seriousness, the limited round count is a major drawback. But then again, with proper training with a revolver, you can load or unload just about as fast as inserting a magazine. With revolvers, we can either use a speed strip or the speed loader. So it's not going to be that slow of a reload when it comes to revolvers. Besides, realistically speaking, a revolver is not something that you will go to war with. Let's be realistic. Huwag na tayong masyadong dirty Harry about it. The mere fact that it carries limited firepower also limits the usefulness of a revolver in terms of something as unrealistic as going to war with it. Will I go to war with it? No way. Now, aside from chambering both the 357 and the 38 Special, another good thing about a revolver is that it does not discriminate chamber pressure. Ibig sabihin, kahit na mahina yung bala mo, this thing will fire. Hindi mo kailangan ng high-pressured loads for the action to cycle. Not like an auto pistol na kinakailangan you follow the chamber pressure, otherwise the slide will not cycle. With a revolver, for as long as your trigger mechanism works, this thing is going to work. For another, pwede mo pa siyang gamitin ng maliliit na yung tinatawag na sneak shot, which are basically small shotgun pellets or any kind of ammunition on this particular gun. The fact that it does not need a magazine to work, the revolver is a very good survival firearm. Ibig sabihin, kahit na yung loose rounds lang ang dala mo, hindi ka na maghahanap ng magazine, unlike the pistol na baka mamaya sa sobrang bilis mo mag-release ng magazine, maitapon mo yung pistol, maiwan mo. With the revolver, this is all you need to carry and probably some spare ammunition. That's about it. One other disadvantage of the revolver is that a good quality revolver will definitely be expensive. Probably more expensive than your Glocks or your 1911s or other pistol alternatives. Yun lang, medyo mas mahal siya. But in terms of simplicity, reliability, and the variety of ammunition that you can carry, the lack of magazine, that makes the revolver an all-around handgun. And probably the only one you will really need if we're talking about home defense or self-defense. But realistically, will you carry something like this? Probably not. It might not be that practical of a choice. Pero pag pinag-usapan natin home defense, load something like this, stash it in a drawer, and forget about it. When you need it, pag kinalabit mo, siguradong puputok. That's the major advantage of a revolver compared to an auto pistol. So maybe the next time you see a revolver, think about maybe the art. Kasi sabi nga ng isang kasama ko dati sa shooting, sabi nila, mas may art yung paggamit ng revolver kesa sa auto pistol, which I believe is true, especially for someone like me who's left-handed. Malaking challenge siya. But just the same, I learned to appreciate it over the years, having had experienced several revolvers during my shooting days. I know it's a really good choice, and I know it's something I can handle. I would definitely trust my life with something like this. So maybe the best advice I can give is try it out. Kung may kilala kayong may revolver, why not, di ba? Bilan nyo ng bala, subukan nyo. That's the only way to convince you to learn to appreciate it. At any rate, unless naiputok mo na, talagang wala kang masasabi about it or you will not feel the joy of shooting revolvers. Sayang. And that's been the long and the short of it. This has been Absabando for Manila Sentinel. Raw. Wheel guns are wonderful. Release the cylinder. And all the rounds pop out. Putang ina mo. Hindi mo na-record.